Hello there, Commonwealth Realm here. Since the title reveal in September, one thing has become more clear than ever. The past and present is about to collide in the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, with a new overall pattern replacing that of the ancient Sheikah shrines, and at last emphasis on the spiral symbols that were scattered across the ruins of the distant past Zonai in multiple of Hyrule's locations. But these are symbols that are remarkably similar to the ones found within Twilight Princess's The Palace of Twilight, while there and among the two leaders of the Twilight in said game, the self-proclaimed King Zant and the rightful Twilight Princess Midna. They derive from the interlopers who have been theorized to be early Sheikah, in fact the first indicated split from it. A trinity of forms of the same blood that we will explore extensively throughout the Zelda theory, written together with ancient Saitcho, so be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell, and let's dive into it. Tears of the Kingdom, Zonai True Origins Zelda Theory. Both Tears of the Kingdom and Twilight Princess appear to share a common thread. Duality that was spoken by Princess Zelda in Twilight Princess with the following words. Shadow and light are the two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other. In Tears of the Kingdom, we have the darkness of the underground and the light of the sky. The dual Ouroboros, but now also the dual Master Sword when we look directly at the logo of the game, as it is forged by both the flames found in Skyward Sword and the Twilight Tech or Dark Sorcery found in Twilight Princess. Don't worry, we'll detail both more directly throughout this theory. Then what is the main connection between the two beyond the dual dragons which appear to be separate from Dinral, Nadra and Farosh? The spiral, which goes over and over again in the stone architecture of both the Zonai and the Twilight. But why? Well, it has been right in front of us, specifically since the release of Twilight Princess HD in 2016, after the first tease of the potential return of the Twilight in 2011's Hyrule History. One thing that has become abundantly clear is that the Zelda team, while reinventing Zelda for the open world layout in Breath of the Wild, also aimed to bring back as many tribes from Zelda's 3D past as possible. Hylians, Sheikah, Gerudo, Zora, Gorons, Rito, and Koroks. But one tribe was missing from Zelda's 3D past in Breath of the Wild, the Twilight, the key companion and opposing force in Twilight Princess. But here we also find the main proof of Fujibayashi's intention to make a continuation to Breath of the Wild, one where the missing but hinted tribe through its ruins would take center stage. But is this really a new tribe? No, rather another example of the Zelda team restoring the tribes of Hyrule's past instead of introducing new ones, continuing Breath of the Wild's tradition of not introducing a single brand new bloodline that didn't have ties to past 3D Zelda games. Okay, but how could the Twilight have come back and become a permanent tribe of Hyrule under a different name? Simple, as it was hinted in Hyrule Historia, page 118. The curtain fell on the destiny of the demonic thief Ganondorf, seeker of the Triforce, at least for a time. However, the invasion by the Twilight had produced much hostility, and the existence of a counterpart world to Hyrule had been exposed. The events of this time left behind a lingering scar, which's effect would be felt in future eras. We didn't see much of it in Four Swords Adventures. But in Breath of the Wild, and especially now Tears of the Kingdom, more and more from both Zelda's past and present day point to the fact that the Twilight and Zonai could be connected by blood, along with symbols, and most of all building everything out of stone. But how could the Twilight have returned to Hyrule when the Mirror of Twilight with the two serpents at the back was shattered by none other than Princess Midna's golden tear when departing Hyrule for the last time? The answer, a different mirror built out of stone, one that would allow the two counterpart worlds to reunite in Hyrule long after the goodbye at Arbitor's grounds. But there's far more, as the fused shadow worn by Midna throughout Twilight Princess dates back to the Interloper War, and it is remarkably similar to the swirl found in the title reveal trailer. Well, that and the two serpents deriving from the same point. Combined, the spirals and the serpents/dragons are key to understanding the connection, or more so continuation, of the Twilight as they likely return to Hyrule, the land of their ancestors, the Interlopers, dating back to a time before it was the kingdom of the Hylians. All made possible thanks to the spirit of the hero, specifically Link of Twilight, the bloodline descendant of the Hero of Time, who mended relations with the Twilight by working together with Princess Midna against Zant and his puppet master, Ganondorf. An event that might have been the beginning of the Twilight's worship of Farol, the goddess of courage, life, and spirits, who fittingly is also represented by a dragon in contrast to Din's boar and Nehru's owl. But there's also a different form of courage, that of Link, the hero. But wait a minute, puppet and master, just like with Calamity Ganon in Breath of the Wild and Ganondorf in Tears of the Kingdom? Indeed, this game is likely here to fully realize the potential of past 3D Zelda games. We already see this in the sky, where Tears of the Kingdom is filling in the gameplay limitations of Skyward Sword's sky. While the Twilight Realm and Palace of Twilight on floating islands, which were equally underutilized parts of Twilight Princess, might also be another template for Tears of the Kingdom. Hence the possible return of a companion from this bloodline, and their patterns being so overrepresented in the trailers, logo, and visual design of Tears of the Kingdom. In Breath of the Wild, Fujibayashi cleverly hid the reappearance of the Twilight within the decaying temple and stone ruins of tropical Faron, but in the story sense throughout the side quest, a fragmented monument, set in the area of Palmyra ruins next to Faron's Lorelin village. In that quest, Link had to find the pieces of the shattered Twilight Mirror and return them to the inhabitant of Lorelin village, Garini, to decipher its hidden text. Where the two find their place and kneel in the reverence, the shrine will reveal itself. And then both Link and Garini kneel with deep respect in order for the Sheikah Shrine to rise from underground. In the first teaser of Tears of the Kingdom back in 2019, the Zelda team brought back both Midna's green spiral symbols and the green carved stones found on the Light Spirit's pools in Twilight Princess. In the second teaser in 2021, the Zelda team brought back the green droplets found on the Light Spirit's pools in Twilight Princess. In the 2022 trailer, the Twilight reappear on the logo as part of the new reforged Master Sword, now replacing the missing part that was cut off by Malice when Link first confronted Ganondorf. But when could a return of the Twilight have been decided by director Fujibayashi and the Zelda team? Probably by 2014, so before the E3 2014 reveal, as the stone statues were already there, and thus long before Twilight Princess HD released in March 2016. But why bring back a played out tribe that appeared to be exclusive to one title? Simple, preparing a potential Sheikah culmination in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild already introduced the first two factions of the Sheikah, the Yiga Clan of Power, Ganon's allies, and the Kakariko Sheikah and Ancient Sheikah of Wisdom, loyal servants of Princess Zelda and Goddess Hylia. And what was the first Sheikah split in the beginning of the timeline? The Sheikah Loyalist and Interloper Sheikah split. With the Zonai of Courage and spirits who more and more likely appear to be the bloodline descendants of the Twilight, who based on the Sheikah crests were the bloodline descendants of the Interloper Sheikah, and they again of the original Sheikah, we have three factions of the Ancient Sheikah, one for each piece of the Triforce and the Golden Goddesses, Din, Nehru, and Faror. Power, wisdom, and courage. And what could this indicate? That it might all merge back together into one restored tribe. A line that follows the theme of Tears of the Kingdom, restoration, but also combinations, combined to restore in the present what has been cut up or split apart in the past. We already saw a hint of this in Breath of the Wild side quests and Age of Calamity. The truth is that the Sheikah are the overarching storytellers and guides of 3D Zelda games since Twilight Princess, a trend that has continued through Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom. The Yiga with their ninja tactics, the Kakariko Sheikah as more noble samurai, and the Zonai as divine spirits. Hence the stone Shinto-inspired torii gates and Buddhist-inspired pagodas in the sky, as both are common to the Japanese spiritual landscape. The more we go through all of this, the more we realize that Fujibayashi wants to combine the Japanese Sheikah factions back into one, potentially by the time we fight Ganondorf again. That is what this theory comes down to, bringing up evidence that the Zonai are Twilight descendants, and why the Sheikah connection through the interlopers are key to this story, with the prospect of restoration at the end of the road, splits in the past and restoration in the present, just like a certain Zelda timeline that split into three in Ocarina of Time in 1998. Ironically, when I'm writing this script with Ancient Searcher and uploading it, I'm in literal Split, Dalmatia, a mountainous subtropical city filled with palm trees, ancient Roman stone ruins, and beaches, just like Faron in Breath of the Wild. Joking aside, let's finish this theory by bringing up the potential uniting force to undo the splits of Hyrule, namely love, a theme seen in Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Breath of the Wild, and now Tears of the Kingdom. In Twilight Princess' ending scene, Midna looks upon Link and Zelda, both with sadness and happiness. She's sad because she lost the one she loved, but is happy because peace has been restored, an argument that is further supported by Game Over Jesse's decoded Zonai texts. Meeting of lovers, the text written on the double Ouroboros symbol of the logo. Then you have when the sun shines, the moon shines. When the moon shines, the stars shine. When the sun sets, the moon turns red. So, the meeting of lovers. a metaphor for sure, which could point both to the love of the past Link of Twilight with Midna and the present Link of the Wild with Zelda. And fittingly enough, all of this translates following Japanese texts and letters. Hence the symbol of Link's gauntlet resembles letters from the kanji alphabet, and seems to time reversal, or more specifically, restoration. It is clear that the Zonai surrounded by closed lotus flowers and Shinto torii gates are the most Japanese tribe yet in Zelda, and would thus fit the Sheikah perfectly. There is a possible reason as to why the ancient Sheikah were so obsessed with everything Zonai to the point that they might have raised Zonai-inspired structures where they hid the Farron warrior barbarian set. And the answer is simple. It is because they could be related, and hence they also set Link on the hero's path to emulate the Zonai in their battle against Calamity Ganon, and eventually led him to Ganondorf deep underneath the ground. And that is what at the end of the day it might all tie back to the original Sheikah, before they split up and ended up in different places. Yiga, Kakariko, and the Zonai. Hopefully back to one Sheikah tribe again when we see the credits of Tears of the Kingdom. If you enjoyed this Zonai theory, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell to not miss any of our upcoming Zelda and Nintendo videos. Last but not least, a big thanks for watching to the end, and to all our patreon.com/Come patrons, and in particular, role producer Charles Shush. You rock, and please enjoy one or both of these two awesome videos.